Hello everyone, Estelle here, and as you can see, Victoria has borrowed a few decorations from her friends, so she has some things going on in her house. Uh, it's not much, it's nothing fancy, the mirror is broken, the chests don't really work, but she is getting there. I got a nice chair for her, and a few chests, and a fancy thing that will eventually allow us to have our very own dragon to ride once we have enough gold. I didn't really play over the weekend, but I left her here with a few friends that she invited over to macro a few skills. So she got her parrying up, her magic resist up, her healing has finished, and tactics maybe. She got the last few points. So she's pretty much done. Out that she needs is her night ship and her remove trap up. The rest of the skills are all set. We need to replace our ring and to generally keep upgrading our stuff so we can have better hit chance, slightly better defense chance, and a few better stats. Her attributes are all over the place. We will fix them eventually. But as of right now, she is ready to continue her adventure. We have a dwarven forge in here, there's a good light source and something in case she has a mining buddy around. But for today, we will continue in the dungeon series. We need to go to the perinian depths, but she has not found that place yet. So we will go to Britain and figure out how to get from that place from there. The perinian depths are all the way over here, so let's start making our journey. I have way more bandages than I need, so I'll just drop a few of them real quick for us to have more space for loot. We need like 300 should be good. Yeah, we're all set now. If you don't have multiple characters, macroing your skills can take quite some time, but it's still worth doing so, especially if you are going to stay away from the game for a while. So when you come back, you will have a better chance of surviving the harder dungeons of this game. As of right now, we cruise through many of the easier dungeons in the normal difficulty, and for the next few ones we will either have to do some quests or we will need to get a boat to get to some of the islands that the game has to offer. So our next objective is to get enough coin to get us a little boat so we can travel to a few islands that have no moon gates nearby. We came from Britain, took the right exit, and now we are going up around those mountains, and we will soon be reaching one of the slightly harder dungeons that we have here in the mainland of Sosaria. In the past few episodes we have been doing Doom, which was nice and a lot of fun. Let's see if we can take an actual dragon. Our healing should keep us very safe at this point. Solar Dragon. If we had a bladed weapon, we could take his scales with us and his leather, which could be worth a good amount of coin. Now, with our 74 night ship, we have a really good chance of casting our Divine Fury. Oh, Potion of Wisdom. That's nice. Let's take it. And we also have a decent chance of getting our Enemy of One cast. takes a lot of money to get your chivalry all the way up to 100, but we have enough of a buffer to get us going. Let's see if the centaur is going to piece us. No, he didn't have the time. I also updated my server and my client to the latest release as of September 23. So we had a few updates on books, a few bug fixes, and I was talking during the weekend in the main Discord. There are a few things that I was doing that were patched or changed ever since I got my install. We'll talk about them as they become necessary. In here we have a little temple. There are a few things that you can do in here, but Victoria doesn't really know about them. So we will leave that like that. Yeah, as you see, I have a area of effect weapon, so I get a few more monsters than I would otherwise want to, but this Hydra has nothing on us. Let's get all of these. Hydra's tooth. Let's hopefully it will be useful eventually. A lot of the items will come up as unID'd right now, because when I was updating I noticed that I had like my chance to get unID'd item at 30% or something, and the default is 50. So I just left it at the default. I'll just close my door real quick, be right back. And here we are at the perinian depths. Oh, never mind, my dog just decided to open the door anyway. And here we have a few of those harpies that can piece you. The stone harpies are much stronger than the regular ones, but with our parry being what it is, we should have a good time with them. And a whole lot of gems. As you can see, now we used our searching skill and we found a trapdoor instead of a bunch of gold. And this is one of the changes that they have done recently. Let's hope it doesn't bother us too much, because if it does, we'll just replace the code back to the earlier version. As it seems, the fact that we can spam our skills is not exactly the intended behavior for how this should work, but I find that to be rather silly. If I was adventuring and journeying through a dungeon, I would probably be searching for traps and hidden loot all the time. So I was picked by the harpy. So let's wait a little bit while I try to close the door again. Right back. So with this update, having half the items you find to be potentially UNID'd, it gets very tempting to have one character with mercantile and arms lore. But since we only have 1000 skill points, I will not do it. I will not bother to add that to Victoria. I want to use the proper nameplates. And let's get those coins. Nuggets, and what's this? Jar of reagents. And now we had a trapdoor with a whole lot of loot instead of a chest. Let's get it. A bunch of onions. Can we eat the onions? No, I think we're good. A bunch of reagents. And colored crafting materials. They are great. So what we forgot to do earlier on is to activate our wand of trap removal, which could have been a deadly mistake. As you can see, previously we had an extra slot on our paper though with your trinket slot item that we don't have anymore, which is weird, but I imagine that there must have been a reason for that. But now that our skills are mostly up and we only need the remove trap and night shift, I will actually close this and we will have a slightly cleaner HUD, so we have an easier time understanding what's happening. What is this potion? Sorcerer's Sand. Let's not bother with that because he's not a crafter. What I absolutely love about this game is the sense of progression. Those nights were quite a pushover when we first started, but now we are no longer afraid of them. We can just hop in and start smacking. Let's pull a few of them up. So this is a name than that. They are much harder than the average enemy. So let's try to get our enemy of one going. If it could eventually hit, that would be awesome. Yeah, we managed to hit after a while. Avela, the ancient corpse. We now have 4 special attacks. And we don't have an awful lot of mana, so we will be using them very sparingly. I don't want you to run towards the other skeletons. Too late, I guess. Thankfully they don't seem to be aggroing for some reason. Oh, they did. But now she's almost dead. 12% fire as. Ours is a lot of anatomy, which is great, but maybe fire as is better. Let's see. Yeah, I think we will be getting the fire resistance. Let's check this trapdoor here. Sausages. A whole lot of coin. I think it's nice that we are finding a trapdoor with stuff instead of just a bunch of gold in the ground. It gives us more of that loot box feeling. Magic resistance, tactics, damage, dex. And a whole lot of resists. Yeah, this is a not really good upgrade. Another potion of wisdom, we'll take it, even if we are not going to use it on this character. Can I always save it for the next one? Yeah, that was awesome. Let's see if there is anything here. No, not really. The perinian depths, if you're younger, you should always be careful with the traps because there's a whole lot of them, and a few of the monsters can be a bit annoying to deal with, especially the harpies if they're piecing. Like so, I was pieced now, so I have to wait until it fades in order to start doing damage again. I can't cast spells while comment, which is dangerous in case I need a heal. But the latest patch also reduced the duration of the piece effects. It should be fine for anyone except a bard. Why isn't my health bar here? Yeah. Can I open it? Yes. I'm feeling like having an ID chance to be at 50 is a bit too high, so I might have to tweak that for the next few episodes. Because I kind of understand how it makes sense in universe, but it still doesn't make for a very good playing experience to have to devote a bunch of skill points to stuff that doesn't really do anything for your archetype. And we are almost done with the first floor already, because Victoria is one tough lady. The skeleton summoned a bunch of mages, but it was a short-lived summon. So we will try to keep our Divine Fury on most fights from now. I was also wondering if I should do a crafter character and showcase you the progression of it. Of course, I wouldn't do like many episodes on mining and lumberjacking and so on, but it would be good to have an use for all of those gems. Like you can have a tinker make a lot of really good jewelry with colored R's and these gems. The tutorials on the crafting scrolls that you find have been redone now, so I'm excited to find a few of those to showcase, yeah. Because this game has grown so fast, Shark has done such an amazing job at keeping it updated that sometimes the documentation just doesn't catch up. If you're in software engineering, you know how it is. You barely have time to push all the code you need to, so updating the documentation is a luxury that you sometimes cannot afford. But Shark, being the nice lad that he is, managed to do so. He updated every single one of those crafting books, and now they showcase how crafting actually works in the game. Our Divine Fury only lasts a few seconds, so we will need to. Oh, those are some nice sandals. But anyway, so now we will need to find those books again and figure out what they are up to. I have a crafting character, but it's a very simple one. My harvesting skills are all over the place and many different characters that could use them. And oh no, my mace is almost gone. I should either replace it or hire weaponsmiths to fix it. Then I got beast once again because such is life. Thankfully, I am tanky enough to not have to care very much about what this harpy is trying to do to us. I think that I will go all the way around and then start clearing. And as you can see in the bottom of my screen, I have my Dungeon Master character logged in. I had to do a build word command after updating everything to make sure that all the changes were actually reflected in the game. That's something that you have to do also. It's explained in the documentation. So every time you download an update, you grab the correct files, you figure out what was changed and follow the instructions. Then you log in and you do brackets build word command on your Dungeon Master character, and then you have everything set up for you. In here we have a serpent. I would like to have your venom, thank you. Especially if I close the chat and actually cast my spells. Let's see what. Oh, it's locked. It's a shame. And another two trapdoors real close by in here. Piecing is such an annoying thing. Come on. I am not that peaceful. Give me those gems, thank you. Silver Serpent. Oh, I set off a trap, even with my trap removal arm. That's a shame. We have our obligatory potion of gender change and a belt with stats that we actually care about. That's a new one, I love it. Here, have this belt. Maybe we will have to do some farming on dungeons that we already visited to get ourselves our boat. But even so, it won't be too much. We are getting to a point that Victoria is getting to be mildly powerful. Oh, ruby glows that we don't know what they are. Let them keep their secrets. Like the whole reason why I decided to make a tanky character from this playthrough is that we could go to different dungeons much earlier than other characters can. And as you can see, it's paying off. Let's heal up. Oh, the shape is locked. So let's go all the way around and see what else we find. Aside from one of those bastards that keeps piecing us. I swear I wasn't getting pieced this often before the upgrade that was supposed to piece us less. But anyway. Maybe there was something wrong with the code. And if you have been following the Adventures of Akalabeth blog, which you probably should if you're playing, you will notice that Shark has decided to call it a day and quit updating it at the end of October, which means that we have this whole month to report any bugs that we find so they can get done until he decides to take his sabbatical. Which is somewhat sad because he's such a good developer and has such a passionate hands-on vision for the project. But also, it's great that he figured out that he did everything he wanted to do with the game and that now other people have a chance to come up and continue from where he stopped. I will read this book on Dracula eventually. Let's check this out. Bunch of gold, bunch of gems. That's great. And a big ass dragon. But if you're playing Akalabeth and it's September or early October, please make sure to report any bugs that you find on the Discord so they can get fixed. Because at this point we're not very sure what will happen to the project after Chalk decides to leave. But we will probably keep going. I am a developer myself. I don't have as much of a strong background in C Sharp, but there are a few things that I would like to change in here. I just don't know what are the things that I like and what are the things that the community likes. But we will probably get a group going, and we will keep updating Akalabeth because this is such a gem of a game, crafted with such care and passion that I absolutely love it. I cannot hold any more items, so let's we have to go here and create and put gridlets in normal container. So now we can open this and figure out what's happening. The Art of Thievery. This will be in our library. We will read it eventually. 8 points in mercantile, 10 points in physical rise. Our shirt does absolutely nothing. Oh, it gives us 5 points in parry. Never mind, it does a lot. Let's get the coins. And the juice. There's a lot of loot in this corpse. $84 shadow iron. Need to be careful about our weight here. Whole lot of stuff. Shame that about half of it were unID'd. We already are 3k gold from this little expedition. And that's what we have been talking about. We really needed let's just remove the default loot and leave only the grid loot only option, but we really wanted a new ring. Because as much as 15 healing is great, the difference between 180 and 123 isn't that awesome for this level of content. So getting more regen and more defense chance increase is awesome for us. So, what did our eyes catch nearby? A trapdoor. There's an entrance up here, and the serpent. I also have been thinking on starting a few series on other games in this channel. I have Morrowind installed with Open Morrowind and quite a few mods, so that should be fun. I don't know how often I can play that, but it would be good to have something else while I think of more ideas for UO. Because as you might have noticed, I am not really too keen on the whole YouTube thing. I don't really know what is the best way of doing things in here, and I honestly don't care. I just want to have a good time and play some games. So, Morrowind is a game that I played for years and I love it to death. So maybe I would have a good time playing it in the channel. Oh, we got a trapped chest, but we managed to survive it. And cherry logs and ash logs, that's great. What's this trinket? We will never know. The fall of mundane. I'll leave it here so you can pause and read if you want to. I already read it quite a few times, and in case you're not familiar with the older Ultima titles, this will give you a lot of context for this game. Oh, whole chest. Oh, it's locked. Shame. There are quite a bit of those trapdoors around here. It's funny because previously we knew we would get like only gold from them or a few coins and so on. And now we get all of these rolls and chances of getting different stuff. Lockpicking 5. Everything is locked. Never mind. Yeah, I quite like this update to the searching skill, because from what I talked with Sork, the developer, people were not supposed to be spamming search, and this is kind of breaks the game, kind of makes it a bit easier. But I don't know. I think that this is a bit on the silly side, because I think that people are supposed to be careful with the stuff that they, when they're like traversing a dungeon or something. So they should be searching for traps and searching for loot in every room. At least that's what happens when I am running a tabletop role-playing game session. So yeah, it's an interesting thing that A lot of different people have different opinions on things. We even have a bit of a bit of a back and forth on the weekends about the stealable artifacts. I made a little video in the channel about how I gear up my characters by stealing dungeon pedestals, and I noticed after a while that this is now a server setting that you can define as true or false if you want people to be able to use stealing to get the dungeon loot and because of gold and artifacts easily. I mean easily after you get all the skills macroed and everything. But anyway, we had a conversation about it, me and Zork, and he had the opinion that the rewards should be throttle. After you steal one of those dungeon bags, you shouldn't be able to get the full reward for a very long time for the next ones. And I felt like if you build a thief character and you spend the skill points in it, then you should absolutely be able to have the rewards for it. But after a conversation and a few arguments on both sides, he decided to just make like a setting that you can add to your server if you want thieves to have a valuable skill and the chance of getting gold quickly. You can set it to true, and if you don't want to, you can just set it to false. Let me showcase you in here real quick. And where was it? Still, if you have an updated version of the game, you have this setting here. If set to true, then characters will only get lucrative items from pedestal bag box once every couple of days. You can set it to true if you want to nerf rogues and if you are having like an online server with a lot of people, or you can set it to false if you want your stealing skills on your rogue characters to actually be worth something. So it's nice that we have this compromise. And people can set their game to be to their liking. What is, oh, this is something else. And here we have lizard hides, which aren't really worth much, so I'll leave them here. They are like the very basic. Letter and bone crafts. It's already on my library, so let's leave them there. Oh, I was poisoned by this chest. You will notice that I haven't been talking much about the mechanics of this dungeon in particular, and it's mainly because it doesn't have much to talk about in the first place. If you got this far in the playlist, then you probably understand how most things work already, and you're probably playing by yourself. If you need a guide on this dungeon, I probably have it on the channel somewhere, and if I don't, I will get to it eventually. This is just about the journey of our beloved Victoria, and she is having a good time. We set a few goals from her in the first few episodes, one of which was to have a house, which she already has, and then she needs an artifact weapon and a skill at 125, which will require us to get a power scroll and to visit the land of Ambrosia to get the shrines to actually unlock it. The power screw costs like 160k, and she at the moment is not looking so good for money, so it will take us some time. We will keep adventuring and exploring and trying to don't repeat dungeons unless we absolutely have to, but I think we are good. We only went to Cesaria so far. We can go to Lotaria very easily, and there's like a dozen different dungeons in there. So her money situation should solve itself eventually. And here we defeated a vampire queen, which is something we needed to do in this dungeon because eventually we will need her heart for an artifact quest. And I think that this is the most that we will get of this dungeon. We will keep exploring because we still have a lot of inventory space because our strength is really high. And yeah. We came up from this dungeon from the highest entrance point, so we will come down here and get the final few rooms. We might miss a few of them, but it's not much. What I was talking before was those boxes that require stealing, snooping, and searching. On the vanilla settings now, once you get one of those, there will be a debuff applied for the next few days, meaning that you can't get anything worthwhile on those boxes until the debuff expires. I find that to be quite silly because if you spend 300 skill points into something in order to not die to those traps, then you should probably be rewarded for it. So in my server, I just leave them to false. That's very easy to do. You should always customize your settings to your liking. Even if you're playing on the multiplayer environment, you can always find a group of people that want to play in the same settings as you. Oh, another vampire. I would love to get my Divine Fury up, but we only got it once the enemies were already dead. It happens. No, I want to go, thank you. And I think that's it for this dungeon. There might have a few rooms in the upper left corner that I missed, but it isn't much. Victoria had a really good time here. We got a few gear upgrades. Let me make sure I'm searching. Yeah. We had a few good gear upgrades, and we get our money always up and up. So I will sell my stuff, and soon we will continue on her adventures. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had a good time. I will see you again soon. Bye bye.